Welcome to Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Casey Porter here, joined by Austin Brubaker. We really don't have anything to talk about today, do we, Austin?
No, we don't. No, it's going to be a little bit of a slow show today, Casey. It's great to see you. Great to be here. Saturday morning on the West Coast. Excited to be here, Dodgers Dogs.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive into it. The Haison Kim, first of all, open up his numbers, and let's give them fans an analytical perspective of Haison Kim. He played shortstop last night. And let me actually throw up some video of him. And this is going to be a little bit clunky. I apologize because I have been scrambling around. You're going to have to forgive me because with the breaking news that I was able to get a hold of last night, I'm not sure that I slept at all. I mean, it's one of those deals where you know your source is 100% correct. I wouldn't have ran with it if it wasn't, one of those situations. But still, I mean, you have no idea with somebody the magnitude of Haison Kim, even knowing that your source is 1,000% correct and it's airtight as it can get. You don't even understand the nerves as far as you have to be right on this, So, I mean, whenever you finally find out, and I was glad to see that Fabian Ardaya included me in his tweet. That doesn't always happen when the big guys do it. Fabian was kind enough to do that, but that was a nerve-wracking deal, so I'm still coming down off of that. So if I'm a little bit incoherent, I apologize. And I was in Stillwater all night last night, so it's been crazy, so I'm a little scattered. So I say that to say if this show's kind of bounce back and forth, or if there's a little clunky parts as far as getting video up, that's just kind of how it goes. So Haison Kim, this young man is getting called up now. I will say this, the reason why I did not run with the reasons why, and I just got peppered with, hey, who's he replacing, this and that. It's because I didn't have confirmation. I had this is what we think is going to happen. I can't run with this is what I think is going to happen. I have to run with I know this is what's going to happen. And so with the information I've gotten is, well, they think it's going to be in replace of Tommy Edman. But the situation is, and this is why I kind of put it in the tweet, I wasn't trying to necessarily hedge the tweet. I was trying to just kind of show the process of how this works. So there's a couple options that can happen here. You can put Tommy Edman on the IL, and Haison Kim could just replace him, as far as on the 26-man roster on the IL, or you can continue to play Tommy Edman minute by minute. You can bring Haison Kim to Atlanta and just put Haison Kim on the taxi squad like they've done Landon Knack, like they've done Hunter Fiducia, like they've done Gavin Stone a million different times, like they've done a million of their different quad A guys. That these are stories you never hear about. Hey, a guy was taxied to LA from Oklahoma City, and fans don't ever hear about that. So they can taxi him and still play Tommy Edman minute by minute. So we're going to, and here's the deal. Just knowing the way the Dodgers work, and this is why we take such deep dives into this, I would bet that they still don't have a decision as far as which way they're going to go on it. So we might hear from Dave Roberts this afternoon a definitive answer, and we might still hear, hey, this is going to be a minute-by-minute taxi situation. I don't know. I would bet that the Dodgers don't know either.
Yeah,
which is why I didn't run with it.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. First off, I think it has to be stated, Casey, that this is a big deal for Dodgers Daily, for Dodgers Dogs, for you.
It really is, Austin. It really is.
And the reason why it's not just because you got a piece of information, but it's because you are well known within the Dodgers organization because of the time that you spend doing a lot of the small little things. While this was going down, while that tweet was going viral, and while Fabian Ardaya was tweeting about this, you were tweeting about Haison Cabrera. You were tweeting about Kellen Lindsay. You were tweeting about all the guys within the system, Kendall George, all these guys that don't really get a whole lot of spotlight all of the different times. You were taking the time to be able to do that. And I think that's in part why people decide to trust you with a lot of that information is because you spend a lot of time investing within guys in the organization and investing in that. So a big congratulations to you with this. It was confirmed by Fabian Ardaya that at the very least, Haison Kim is going to Atlanta. Whether this is he's going to immediately join the big league club, or if he's going to be part of a taxi squad situation while they are unsure of what's going to happen with, for example, a player like a Tommy Edman who has been out the past couple of games with some sort of ankle injury. Either way, we know that he's going to Atlanta. That has been confirmed, and it is a really big deal here on Dodgers Daily. We'll get into, I'm sure, who does Haison Kim replace, because it becomes very complicated, especially if it's not an IL stint, just with the way the Dodgers have constructed their roster. But first off, I think we have to congratulate Haison Kim for making it to this point, to where the Dodgers are calling him up or bringing him to be part of the big league squad, because his first month of the season has been really, really solid from a numerical standpoint. He's shown some signs of being a guy that can be a consistent big leagues. It's not a complete game yet. There are still elements of his game that he has to work at, but it's gotten to a point where, at least to whatever situation the Dodgers have, they feel confident enough to be able to call him up and put whatever trust or whatever plan that is going to come into fruition. They might give some playing time to Haison Kim. So it's really exciting to be able to see all of that. And an exciting time here is Dodgers Daily.
Yeah. So kind of explain to people, if you don't want to, I can. Alex Freeland's been better than Haison Kim. He's been a better defender. He's been a better offensive player. He's stolen. I mean, Haison Kim has more stolen bases, but Alex Freeland still has like 6 stolen bases. So for those of you out there saying, well, Alex Freeland's been better, why in the hell isn't he the one getting called up? There's reasons for this that get messy in terms of roster spots and that kind of deal. So can you kind of explain to fans why you think it was probably Haison Kim and not Alex Freeland?
Yeah, so let's go into the very simple reason, and then we'll get into a little bit more complex reasons why the Dodgers might not want to clock on Alex Freeland yet. So the very simple and easy explanation as to why it's Haison Kim over Alex Freeland has to do with the fact that Haison Kim is already on the 40-man roster. So Major League Baseball teams have a 26 and 40-man roster. 26 is part of the 40-man roster. You have 40 different players that you can have that you can essentially call up to the big leagues that are part of that roster. Now, obviously, there's only 26 players that can be at the major league level, which means you have guys that are down at the minor leagues that you can move up and come down. And Haison Kim, when he signed the contract during the offseason, it was a contract to where he was part of the Dodgers 40-man roster. And so he's on that 40-man roster, can be easily called up. Alex Freeland currently is not on that 40-man roster. The reason why he's not on that 40-man roster is because he is not eligible for the Rule 5 draft. And because the Dodgers don't have a role for him at the major league level.
He wasn't. He will be.
He will be after this season. He hasn't been to this point of his career.
So they didn't have to protect him last year. They will this next year.
Which means that unless they wanted to immediately call him up to the big leagues, which probably will happen at some point during the 2025 season, they don't have to add him to the 40-man roster until that point it happens. And especially with the way Haison Kim and Alex Freeland's contracts, they're very different type of contracts. Yes. Alex Freeland is still on a minor league contract, which means his service time for being part of an organization does not start until he's called up to the big league level or until he's added to the 40-man roster. Haison Kim signed a free agent contract in which he was signed to a 3-year deal plus a couple of club options, which means that it's a different sort of deal. He's going to be part of the Dodgers for that tenure, and it's not under the minor league contract type of situation. So with Alex Freeland, he has been numerically better than Haison Kim to this point of the season. But for the Dodgers, they don't have to. They would have to make some sort of 40-man roster move in order to add Alex Freeland to be part of this club. That is number one, a complication with that. They also have to be conscious about a couple of different things with calling up Alex Freeland. They would have to be conscious about when they actually start his clock, as far as when they want to worry about service time. I don't think they're necessarily as worried about that, but something that could be of consideration, of concern with Alex Freeland has to do with if they call him up. Let's say you call him up for 2 weeks. Let's just say hypothetically, because with Haison Kim becomes a question of who does he actually replace. Let's say this is in replacement of a guy like a Tommy Edman. He comes up for 2 weeks, then they send him immediately back down. Alex Freeland, lose one of his option years, in which case he would only have 2 option years after this year. That's another complication. With Haison Kim, you already are losing one of his option years during this year. So if you call him up, send him back down. It's not that big of a deal, especially if it's some sort of shorter term stint, which we do not have. So
option years don't start until you actually get put on the 40-man roster.
Yes.
So Alex Freeland's, he get 3 option years, and because Alex Freeland's not on the 40-man yet, this doesn't count as one of his 3 option years. And because Haison Kim is on the 40-man, this does count as an option year. So those logistics just make it so much. Plus, Haison Kim plays second, center field, and can spot at shortstop, which is literally exactly what Tommy Edman was.
Yes, it fills in exactly with some of the positions that Tommy Edwin would fill in. So as a standpoint of Haison Kim, let's just assume, which this is not any sort of breaking news that we have. I will repeat that in case people are just tuning in. Let's say that this is hypothetically in replacement of a Tommy Edman. Haison Kim would be the guy that would be essentially a perfect replacement positionally wise in there. And it's not like Haison Kim has been a bad player in AAA. He has not been at all. He's been a really solid player for Oklahoma City. Logistically, though, with the way that Major League Baseball has their roster construction, this is the move that made the most sense. And this move that seems to be the way that the Dodgers are going, or at least having a plan just in case they need to make a move, depending on when the decision gets made.
Yeah, here's that pinwheel type swing that it's a very Asian type swing that you see quite a bit. Very similar to Shohei Ohtani. No 2 swings are completely exactly identical. Actually, let me get my I'm sorry here, Austin. I should have done this just a minute ago. Let me put on my virtual camera, and then let me actually throw that on the screen so you can see what the audience is seeing here. So here is Haison Kim on the left, Shohei Ohtani on the right. Both of those pinwheel type swings. That's why you're seeing Haison Kim hit more home runs. Because you can see that swing right there has a lot of lift in the front of it. So the logistics of it are that, just kind of wrap that up, Haison Kim already on the 40-man, so you don't have to clear a spot to get him on the Major League roster, which you would have to clear a spot if you did with Alex Freeland. Okay, this does not count as an option year for Alex Freeland because he's not on the 40-man. It does count as an option year for Haison Kim. So there's number 2. Number 3, the positional aspect of it. Alex Freeland doesn't play center field. So it exactly matches what you would need to be replacing with Tommy Edman. And then again, I'm going to finish this by saying this could be a full-blown IL for Tommy Edman. This could be just a taxi squad situation to where they're sending Haison Kim to Atlanta, and he's going to just kind of hang out like a lot of these guys have done in the past, while they continue to try to figure out whether they actually are going to put Tommy Edman on the IL. And we have a question here we have a statement here from Justin Lamas, which is a good statement, and kind of getting aggressive here with Alex Freeland. Obviously, Justin likes Alex Freeland, and the statement here is, and I'm going to put some Alex Freeland on the board, so give me just a second. Let me actually find some Alex Freeland BP here. So he's saying if you bring up Alex Freeland and you don't send him back down, that doesn't count as an option year either, right? But the percentages of Alex Freeland coming up to the Major League club and not coming back down are almost 0. I would imagine that Haison Kim will probably come back down at some point. I don't know that, but we'll see.
Yeah, just you have to think about the way that the Dodgers currently have their roster constructed. Yeah. Now, it doesn't mean that the roster construction can't change throughout the course of the year, but the way they decided and intentionally built their roster during the course of the offseason is they have 12 of their 13 positional players not having any sort of minor league options. They're veteran players who are going to be up at the big league level until you are ready to move off of them. So
this is Alex Freeland, by the way. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have to, and I actually talked about this on the show on Wednesday, you have to have a certain criteria that you have to meet in order for these guys to replace these guys on a more long-term basis. And some of the guys that we're talking about potentially replacing with some of these younger guys either don't fit exactly with the position of need of what they want, or 2, there could be some things that in either one of these guys' games that you might want to iron out a little bit more, dealing with more of the swing and miss, in-zone swing and miss with an Alex Freeland, or some of the chase numbers with a Haison Kim. You might want to give him a little bit more time at AAA before a long-term role gets added to them. And the only guy that has options at the big league level is Andy Pages. And Andy Pages is tied for the most Fangraphs WAR of any Dodger entire season. He's been really solid for the Dodgers, at least of late. He's been really hot for them. So I'm not anticipating any of these guys being replacements for them. Yes, it is true. If they don't send back Alex Freeland, that is the case. But who does Alex Freeland replace? Because I don't think it's Andy Pages right now. I still think they're going to give more time to guys like Michael Conforto. They're going to give a lot of time to Max Muncy. And if Alex Freeland was to replace somebody like Miguel Rojas or Chris Taylor or somebody off the bench, is he going to be in that exact same role? And is that actually going to be healthy for the development of Alex Freeland going forward long term if he's not getting any sort of playing time? Those are all complicating factors that you have to be 100% sure of, that you're ready to move off of guys from the big league level before turning to some of these guys, which sucks because I want to see these guys make their major league debut, but that is the way that the Dodgers have intentionally structured their roster. Both of these guys are doing really solid to start this season, and I think they are going to make it to the big leagues in very short order. It becomes finding the right time and finding the right fit for each one of these guys with the Dodgers.
Yeah, so I'm going to cut it back here. Hey, great point by Craig Osterberg. Congratulations, Alex Freeland. Congratulations to the entire production crew of AAA Oklahoma City. I can tell you, I watch all these minor league games. This AAA Oklahoma City video production, Alex Friedman behind the mic, it's major league all the way. I mean, like the replays, the side views, the views of all of the plays in the field, the review plays of the field, the attention to detail the Dodgers put into this. Alex Friedman behind the mic, you're going to find he's just an awesome listen. And then the amount of information that he has, the way he's able to relate it to the game, still call the game. You're going to watch this broadcast and go, how is this not a major league game? I mean, then you're going to see like major league guys that could, I mean, the AAA Oklahoma City Comets could probably beat the Miami Marlins 5 out of 10 times on the field. I'm serious. If some of their better pitching actually pitched well, which not all of them are right now, but it's a really good team. So tonight, the Oklahoma City Comets are on Spectrum TV, and they're at home, which is cool. This was the next aspect of it. The Dodgers don't miss a beat. Not only are they on Spectrum, they're doing it in a home game. It's on a Saturday night, so hopefully the crowd will look good. Last night was a good crowd in Oklahoma City, so it'll look good on TV. But more than that, in these minor league games, what happens is the TV, the video production uses the home team audio. So tonight, Oklahoma City, being in Oklahoma City, it will be the audio of Alex Friedman, and everybody gets to hear and listen to what we've known for a long time. And this dude is absolutely big league, and so is the video production. So congratulations to all of you wonderful people with the Oklahoma City Comets. It is so well deserved.
So well deserved. So well deserved because it's broadening the audience for these guys to be able to see them. We've had a chance to be able to and intentionally go out of our way to make sure that we're able to watch these games, to be able to analyze this, but to be able to do it on a broader scale, to do it for a bigger audience, to be able to see these guys, and especially with this Oklahoma City club. This team is very talented. There's a lot of really good guys that are part of that team. So to be able to see that for people in Los Angeles, to be able to experience it, so well deserved from them. And I love this. And I hope this is something that they continue to do, continues to become a trend, is seeing the Dodgers continue to put an emphasis on the guys coming up through the system, continue to shining a spotlight on them. That's something that we try to go out our way to do. And I'm really glad to see the Dodgers putting more intentional focus into that. So possible rain tonight in Atlanta, which means the game might not get played. There's another factor that gives you another 24 hours to figure out what to do with the Edmond situation. So it might be AAA Oklahoma City on TV in primetime Saturday night and being the only show in town. So Austin, get out your stat book here, open up all of your pages that you get to, and let's start breaking down AAA Oklahoma City and what Dodgers fans can expect to see from the Comets tonight on Spectrum TV. Yeah, so there is a lot of talent that's going to be a part of this. Let's first start off on the offense. We won't cover Haison Kim because he's going to be in Atlanta. He won't be part of the game that is part of there tonight. But there are a lot of hitters that are hitting incredibly well for Oklahoma City. And one player that we thought about might be taken in the Rule 5 draft, probably should have been taken in the Rule 5 draft by the way that he's hitting right now, Ryan Ward. Ryan Ward is hitting phenomenally right now. His triple slash line right now, 342, 420 with a 570 slugging percentage. That's a 990 OPS, a 157 WRC plus. Is just unbelievable for a guy who has continued to go out there and produce so incredibly well for Oklahoma City. If you were watching, and I don't remember if it was yesterday, the other day, maybe 2 days ago, something like that, in a doubleheader with Oklahoma City, Ryan Ward hit a walk-off inside the park home run to win the first game of a doubleheader for the Comets. It was unbelievable. But you look further into some of his numbers. He's patient at the plate, 12% walk percentage. His strikeout rate is under 20%, which with a guy that is able to hit with as much power as he has, it is really, really solid. Currently this year, he has 7 home runs. I believe he is in Bricktown Ballpark, the all-time home run king for Oklahoma City under their various names in their franchise at that stadium. Ryan Ward is somebody who's been in the system for quite a while, often gets overlooked, but is incredibly productive from the left side of the plate, corner outfield type of spot, which becomes, and they've been putting him at first base as well, which becomes a lot of very complicated with the Dodgers because they have corner outfielders. But this is a guy who is deserving and should get a big league opportunity at some point, whether this is with the Dodgers or whether this is with another organization. He's the first player because of the way that he's hitting right now, deserving of highlighting.
All right, who else?
Yeah, so there's some other guys. There's obviously, we talked a little bit about Alex Freeland. We'll get you some of his numbers in just a second. But Dalton Rushing also is somebody that obviously Dodgers fans, if you follow a lot with the prospects, he's somebody that really excites both fans of some of the top prospects and those who like to dive into some of the numbers and actually watch the individual games, because Dalton Rushing is incredibly talented. He has, and this is what we've talked about quite a bit, he has one of it could be my favorite hit tools within the entire organization. This is special coming from the catching position. Dalton Rushing currently right now hitting 313, 418 on base percentage, a 500 slugging percentage, a 140 WRC plus. He's walking about 14% of the time. Strikeouts are a little bit high, although they've dipped down a little bit over the past week or so at 25.5% right now. Dalton Rushing is a catching prospect that everybody rightfully talks about, and deservingly so. Somebody coming up through the system who the Dodgers have to try to figure out some sort of way to be able to make this guy fit into what they're doing, because he's just that good. Still only 24 years old. He's still very young. He's fiery. He's competitive. All these different aspects of Dalton Rushing's game are absolutely there. He is an unbelievable prospect and somebody that you absolutely want to be part of your team.
Okay, who next? Let's just keep going through. Just go through your stat sheet and let's just keep going through it.
All right, let's keep grinding. Since I talked about Dalton Rushing, I mentioned Alex Freeland. Let's just mention some of the numbers for the 23-year-old shortstop prospect. Alex Freeland can play shortstop. He's played a little bit of third base as well as I think I saw him in the game the other day playing a little bit of second base. Hasn't done that quite as much, although he has done that just a little bit throughout his tenure at the minor league level. He's doing really solid through his tenure at the minor league level. 314, 389, 488 on the season. That's an 876 OPS. I believe had a home run during the game yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was a day or two ago. Opposite field home run from the left-handed side swing. He's got that opposite field power, but it comes down to that gap-to-gap type of power and using all of his different tool sets and abilities to be able to make things work on the baseball field. He is a winning baseball player, solid defense out there, can run, can steal bases, as you mentioned, has 6 or so stolen bases. He's the guy with the most plate appearances for Oklahoma City and has a 126 WRC plus through this point of his career in Oklahoma City in 2025. Walks a decent amount, 11%. Strikeouts right now are a little bit high at 28.5%. And that, I think it comes in a little bit with some of the in-zone miss percentage that I had mentioned. We'll dive into that a little bit on a separate show, some of the plate discipline metrics that we get, particularly with AAA numbers. But a little bit of in-zone miss percentage with him, but he still is able to find a way to be productive, still is able to find a way to hit some solid line drives.
Yep.
Switch hitter, can do a lot of really good things to help impact a baseball field. He is a pretty special athlete that the Dodgers have in this system. So I'm really excited to see what he is able to do as he continues to develop. You want me to keep going on this?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's hit a couple of different outfield.
I'll tell you another guy. Let me hit some hot button guys.
You got it.
That's on. Esteury Ruiz. Esteury Ruiz. Okay, he is the young man that the Dodgers traded for. He has extremely ridiculous speed. The Dodgers actually traded him for Carlos Duran, who, by the way, made his major league debut the other day. We called that on Dodgers Daily, that Carlos Duran was like our click to pick to make his major league debut this year. And we thought it was going to be with the Dodgers, but it got traded. Esteury Ruiz is with Triple Oklahoma City. He's doing very well, so break him down.
He's doing really well. Another one of these guys where he's had a little bit of big league experience before, but has really struggled quite a bit with the bat. A lot of the other tools, particularly with the speed element that he's able to bring, is still there for Esteury Ruiz. Currently with Oklahoma City during his 20 games, 13 stolen bases. Mm-hmm. That is an unbelievable rate.
Well, leads the PCL, yeah.
And so he's got the same amount that Haison Kim has in 28 games, 13 stolen bases apiece. And that is something that you've talked about quite a bit before, of being intentional within this organization, finding those guys that have elements of speed or some of those additional elements that can help impact the baseball field. And currently right now with AAA Oklahoma City, probably hitting better than a lot of people might have anticipated when they went with that trade. Currently right now has a 129 WRC plus, hitting 290 batting average, 395 on base percentage, and 464 slugging percentage. That's a 129 WRC plus. He's walking about 12% of the time. He's striking out under 18% or right at around 18% in his 84 different plate appearances. So he's adding a lot of different unique elements to the game that aren't given to every single baseball player. He's able to provide those elements, and if he can find some sort of consistency with his bat, he's going to be back in the big leagues pretty quick.
He is. Okay, another guy, kind of a quad guy, a guy who has over 1,000 major league at-bats, who gets very hot at times. I think we'll see time with LA this year. A guy you're going to want to watch tonight if you watch AAA Oklahoma City is Michael Chavis. This is a guy, sometimes he makes AAA pitching look like slow pitch softball. And I mean, he hits the ball hard when he hits it. So can you kind of break down Michael Chavis a little bit, the season he's had with Oklahoma City?
Yeah, so let's break down with some of his numbers. Casey has had a little bit more time to be able to watch some of his game more than I have, but he's put up some solid. I mean, this is consistent with a lot of these guys at Oklahoma City. Almost all their guys right now have WRC pluses over 100, and a lot of them have WRC pluses over 110, 115, meaning that they're 10%, 15% better than the league average player. Michael Chavis to this point of the season hitting 286. 343 on base percentage and a 560 slugging. He really has been able to provide some of the power. 275 ISO. We'll get into some of his home run numbers, some of his double numbers in just a second. He's got a 128 WRC plus on the season. Around league average, 8% walk percentage. Strikeout percentage with the amount of power that he's able to provide, only at about 18% or so. currently has 6 home runs. He's got 5 doubles. He's got a triple to add to that. So he's hitting for some extra base power. He just has been one of these guys that's been in Oklahoma City, been able to provide a lot of a veteran presence to the Oklahoma City offense and been able to help build this team to have a little bit of depth, and also with some of these younger guys, with a Dalton Rushing and with an Alex Freeland, having somebody with a lot of big league experience, being able to help mentor them and help get them to the place where they need to be, I think is a really positive thing. Michael Chavis has been a really good get for the Dodgers.
He has, and he's just good depth. It's kind of nice to have in your back pocket. It's very comforting. So the last position player we're going to talk about, one of my favorite players that I have, there's nobody on earth I have more respect for than Hunter Fiducia, old Fetty. Fetty's just awesome, man. I love Fetty. Hunter Fiducia, young man out of Barb High School, Lake Charles, Louisiana, went to LSU Eunice out of high school, then went to the big LSU his last year. Really just kind of kept growing, kind of kept getting better, and now here we are. He's been a great hitter for many, many years, just blocked by Will Smith and Austin Barnes.
He has been blocked by Will Smith and Austin Barnes, and it's been unfortunate for him. But he's still going out there. He's still doing his thing. He is on the 40-man roster as well. So whenever, and this is not something that you ever hope for, but if there is ever anything that happens to either Will Smith or Austin Barnes, Hunter Fiducia is ready, and he's still going out there and grinding and doing his thing and showing not just the Dodgers, but every single other organization that he is worthy of some sort of big league call-up at some point, and to get some sort of sustained run. He's gobbled up for a couple of games. He's had a couple of different plate appearances in 2025, couple in 2024, but that's pretty much it. To this point in Oklahoma City, he's still doing his thing. Remember, from the catching position, which is not an offensive position, hitting 288, 380 with a 542 slugging percentage, wow, a 923 OPS. That's a 134 WRC plus for him in this 71 different plate appearances. He's walking 14% of the time. Strikeouts are at about 24% for him. Hunter Fiducia, he's got 9 extra base hits, including 2 home runs, 2 triples as well that are part of his game. So he's just gone out there. He's done his exact same thing that he seemingly always does, and he's been really solid. One more guy that I do want to mention of Oklahoma City, from the offensive side, before we go ahead and move on, is somebody who's been one of, if not the hottest hitters for Oklahoma City over the past couple of weeks, and somebody who's really struggled to start off the season. Another one of these guys that's on the 40-man roster, James Outman. James Outman, since the 16th of April, here are his numbers that he has, and we'll go to his numbers over for the season. But since the 16th of April, so you're talking about a good 2.5 weeks ish for him. He's been hitting 404 with a 429 on base percentage, with a 772 slugging percentage, and that's a 198 WRC plus over since the 16th of April in his last, 15 or so games. It's been unbelievable what he's able to do. Last night, I believe, had 2 home runs during the game for James Outman. Currently on the season, after a really slow start for him, already has a 117 WRC plus. Strikeouts are still high for James Outman. Still,
they're going to stay that way. They're just going to be 30% or above. To hell with it. They just if you're going to call him up and he's going to be your center fielder, that's just part of it you're going to have to deal with. I'm convinced of that.
That is going to be part of the game, but it is also important to remember that he is somebody that he continues to go out there. He continues to find ways to be productive at the plate, at least for Oklahoma City, and he is at some point going to get another opportunity. Obviously, the Dodgers are using his last option year this year, which presents a very difficult conversation as far as 26 and beyond, but if the Dodgers aren't going to have him in the Major League Club next year, it's going to be with another organization, because another organization is going to look at the surrounding skill sets and give him a chance, especially with what we saw in 2023. So he is part of Oklahoma City still. He had a really good game yesterday, and as of late has been incredibly hot.
He absolutely has been. Let me just kind of pick your brain here a little bit. Dive into this a little bit. How many at-bats would you say it took this year at AAA Oklahoma City before he actually started figuring things out?
So looking at some of the numbers, which let me back up some of because I'm looking at some of the
I don't
game
know,
logs
so
right
I'm
now.
just shooting this in the dark. Just know that I'm shooting
Yeah.
this in the dark.
Yeah, so so what we'll do is we'll look at these numbers before the 16th of April, because leading up to this point, it was a bit of a struggle for
It was
him.
terrible. It wasn't a struggle. It was terrible.
It was
terrible.
Up until from the
Yes.
start of the season through the 15th of April, he was hitting 152 with a 400 with
Well,
a
he was
40
hitting 130 for a while, something like that.
with a 40% strikeout percentage, and that's a 48 WRC plus, and that's including a game which I believe there's a 2-hit game on the 12th of April. So if you go back even further from that, you're talking about, which, give me just a second. Yeah, you're talking about a 148 with a 29 WRC plus.
Yeah,
it was
29.
very much of a struggle for James Ellman to get started, but now that he's gotten going, we'll see what he's able to do to find some consistency with this. It's the exact same thing,
Give me a number. Give me a number at bats. How many at bats did it take him this year to get things going?
All right, so if we're talking about that number at bats through the 11th of April, 54 different at bats, 61 different plate appearances. So you're talking about probably 60 to 80 plate appearances to really start to find.
So he was horrible through 60 to 80 plate appearances.
Something like that, yeah.
That's kind of what I was curious there. So the guy that's going to throw tonight for AAA Oklahoma City is going to be a guy that Dodgers fans are familiar with, and this is my boy from OSU. Matter of fact, Oklahoma State has a big weekend at home against UCF, University of Central Florida tonight. So I spent all night last night there, going there again tonight. That's why I got my post out late. Going to be there tomorrow as well. Justin Robleski, an OSU boy, he is going to be the one on the bump tonight for AAA Oklahoma City. It has not been a good year so far for Robo. I mean, I'm going to say it point blank. Yeah. I don't mean that to throw shade. That's just a fact. He's going to overcome it. He's going to be just fine. Nobody has more confidence in the world in him than I do, but I got to call a spade a spade. It has not been good for Robo so far, so I think this is a big opportunity for him to go, you know what, all these LA Dodger fans are watching my ass pitch tonight. I'm going to light this thing up. I think this is an opportunity for his competitive side to think that way.
It very much is. Numbers do not look pretty for Robo on this season. Obviously, he had the one appearance when he got called up to the big leagues. Didn't go the way that he had wanted. With Justin Robleski, though, he is somebody where I saw a lot of these struggles early in the 2023 season when he was part of Great Lakes, and it was a real battle to get things going. But as the season was able to go along, he just kept grinding and going and was able to figure things out. And with Justin Robleski, the talent, as we've talked about, and as a lot of Dodgers fans were able to see throughout the course of spring training, they were really excited about what Justin Robleski was and is able to offer. It's about finding that consistency. It's about being able to grind when things aren't exactly going well, and it's about taking advantage of the next opportunity that is available for you. And with Justin Robleski, he's about as competitive, as fiery as I've ever seen a guy come up from the pitching mound throughout this Dodgers organization. And I have no doubts that he's going to be able to figure things out. It only takes one appearance for him to feel really good or to figure some things out before he can start being the Robo that we saw throughout his entire journey at the minor league level. He's still incredibly young, though. Let's remember that for Justin Robleski, just 24 years old at AAA Oklahoma City, one of the youngest pitchers that are part of that staff. Justin Robleski still working through a lot of these things. And yeah, he's the youngest pitcher that's pitched for Oklahoma City, not named Carlos Duran, who is no longer part of the organization. Yeah. So continue to be patient with him. Let him figure things out. And when needed, he likely will be called upon at some point. So continue to grind, continue to work things out, and then be ready when your time is called upon for when you're going back to Los Angeles, which will be at some point.
Okay, so let's move off of AAA Oklahoma City. That's what you're going. If you're going to tune into Spectrum tonight, if the Dodgers are rained out, even if they're not, if you want to watch your AAA team, they are on Spectrum tonight. Going to have several different games, as Craig has mentioned, throughout the season on Spectrum. Congratulations, Oklahoma City. Justin Robleski is going to be your starting pitcher. We went over the position players that you need to be aware of. So let's move off of that. Let's stay on the farm before we get to the talk about last night's game. The Dodgers overall, one of the most electric moments I can remember Of course, I mean, when I say electric, I'm being a little bit exaggerated here. This is the first pitch of the game last night for the Great Lakes Loons. First pitch. Kendall George bunts for a base hit. And, I mean, all the kiddos at field trip day are like, whoo, damn, that dude can run, right? And then here's the next pitch. See ya. I mean, two of your top outfield prospects, 2 pitches in a row in front of a full-packed crowd full of kids on a field day, put on an absolute show. I mean, that was standing ovation. That was that's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. That was awesome. First 2 pitches of the game.
Oh, it was so much fun yesterday. First off, love it when Dove Diamond is that packed, and it gets that packed at least twice a year when the kids come take their field trips from all over the Bay Area over there in Midland. They come over, they fill up the stadium really well. And to start off the game with Kendall George finding a way to be able to get on base, which is the thing that you love to see for Kendall George, just finding a way to be able to get on base consistently. He's able to take advantage of the skill set that he has with the speed element. And you look at that, it was a wild throw, but he beat the throw by a couple of steps before it even got over there. He's that quick. And then Josue DePaula was the player that you got to see hit the home run on this pitch here. Just with an absolute missile. Josue DePaula is hitting really solid. Both Kendall George and Josue DePaula on this season hitting really well. I'll dive into some numbers with Josue DePaula first. Overall in the season, 274, 408 on base percentage, a 488 slugging percentage. That's a 152 WRCs plus. His discipline at the plate still remains elite. 18% walk percentage. A strikeout percentage under 15% is unreal for that guy. And he already has 4 home runs on the season. You saw him able to get some lift on the ball. It's unbelievable. Kendall George is also doing really solid, 122 WRC plus on the season. Both of them are electric, dynamic parts to be part of the Loons outfield. Their Loons outfield is legit elite. When you have Josue DePaula, you have Kendall George, you have Zaire Hope that's part of that. And then when your 4th outfielder is a guy, Cole Myers, who has been drawing a lot of walks.
Runs a 6'4" 40.
Yeah, so it's a fun outfield to be able to watch for the Loons.
Well, then your outfield for Rancho is, Mike Sirota, and I mean, guys. And then at Tulsa is an enigma because you have maybe the 3 most talented outfielders in terms of raw talent, with Jose Ramos, Chris Newell, and Damon Keith. Yeah. But they are the ones that are the least polished. So, I mean, it's a really interesting mix of outfield prospects in the Dodgers organization this year. So that's kind of what we wanted to cover on the farm today. Let's get back to last night's game. Yoshinobu Yamamoto just absolutely shoved. I mean, I think he gave up the 1 walk and then retired like 10 or 11 guys in a row. Walked another guy, only 1 hit through 6 innings. And guess what, Austin? He threw his 4-seam fastball in the zone right at 60% of the time. I'm telling you, I'm not a mathematician, but there's a magic number to that. The Dodgers have the best record. I didn't look this morning. I've been so busy. I know in the National League, I think in all of baseball, and it still feels like there's a lot out there left for this team to be in terms of it still doesn't feel like this is even close to the best version of what this team should be. And so let's say this, it's barely May. You don't want to be the best version of your team right now. You want to continue to build and grow and build and grow, because if you create the best version of your team right now in May, and then you start peaking, now what in July and August and September? So you kind of want to build, you want to continue to just kind of play the process game, keep your lead, and then keep building into the best version of what you can be. And hopefully you've created that best version moving into September and then October, because as you do that, that's what actually allows you to peak. So for Dodgers fans that are like, we're not doing, and I'm one of them. I bitch and moan as much. I throw hissy fits all the time about this team, right? But then you kind of step back and you go, well, actually, we don't want to be peaking right now. We don't want to be at the top of our game right now. We want to kind of slow play that. So first of all, your thoughts about last night's game. I loved how the Dodgers manufactured the first runs with 2 singles and a sac fly. And so you had the timely hitting, pitching, defense, and timely hitting. It's a forever formula, no matter how many advanced analytics you put in it. Pitching, defense, timely hitting will always win. Great to see Mookie Betts continue to hit the ball better as of late with the home run. Yoshinobu Yamamoto absolutely shoved. Bullpen good again. So your overall thoughts of last night's game and then the Dodgers overall to this point.
Yeah, so with Yoshi Yamamoto, I mean, you got to give him an insane amount of props for what he's able to do. You mentioned the in-zone fastball percentage being about 60%, but it was all the different pitches that seemed to be working for Yoshi Yamamoto, not just last night, but it's seemingly throughout the entire course of the season. This guy is unbelievable. You talk about not peaking right now, but Yoshi Yamamoto has been unbelievable to this point of the season, pitching 40 innings, a .90 ERA during those 40 innings. All the expected numbers are in the low twos, really solid. He's striking out 32% of guys. All the numbers are adding up. But Yoshi Yamamoto is able to go out there and be a winning pitcher out there.
He's an ace.
He's able to match.
He's a true ace.
Yeah, he is a true ace, and he's developing into that. And this is why the Dodgers decided to invest in a guy that had never pitched at the big league level, because they knew what he was capable of, and they knew that he was just entering into the prime of his career, which is a crazy part where Yoshi Yamamoto is. He's just entering into the prime of his career, only going to get better. He pitches 26? Really well. He's able to match against the Braves pitcher from yesterday, Grant Holmes, I believe is who it was. He was able to match with them. Yoshi Yamamoto was able to field his position incredibly well. You saw some of those line drives come back up the box early in the game, especially. Yoshi Yamamoto was absolutely dominant, and he is the front runner right now for the Cy Young. Obviously, way too early to think about any of that. And the most important thing with Yoshi Yamamoto is making sure that he's ready to go for October. That's far and away more important than any sort of in-season awards. But he's going out there and being so incredibly dominant. It is so impressive to be able to watch for Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yeah, totally is. It absolutely is. And he's been a true ace in a season where the Dodgers really have needed that, because they've lost some true aces to injury to this point. Where the Blake Snell deal and the Tyler Glasnow deal, hey, everything that I get out of them positive, it's kind of, I mean, it's just going to be a bonus to me. I've just kind of shut my brain down on that. Like, whatever we get, you know. And so what else do we have? So we have Yamamoto. Go ahead.
Yeah, they are going to be out for some sort of or some sort
Who
of
the
time
hell
period.
knows? That's my point.
Yes, and I don't know if it's extended.
It's like Johnny's saying, Dave Roberts isn't going to give you the answer to that. He's going to continue to be coy with it and play the coach speak game. And it's not lying. It's gamesmanship.
Yes, and honestly, I don't know what sort of information that he should give for a lot of this, because he's not just got to think about giving some information to the media, but he's also got to think about protecting his players and trying to make sure that they also have a competitive advantage with all of this different stuff. Having a player like Yoshi Yamamoto go out there and be a true ace that the Dodgers can rely upon is really good. And then adding these different elements of pitchers that are going to be part of the mix. Having a Roki Sasaki who's going to be on the mound, or should be on the mound, assuming that the game actually plays with some of the weather that's coming in tonight. Having him continue to grow in development is good. Having Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin back in the mix, Clayton Kershaw at some point being back in the mix. They're going to have to figure some things out, which is why they brought in a couple of pitchers over the course of the past couple of days. Guys that have minor league options that they can call up and send back down as needed is a very important distinction with Ryan Loudis and JP Fireeisen being back within the organization. But having Yoshi Yamamoto go out there and be dominant, having an offense who wasn't fully on fire during that game, still find a way to be able to win games, which you got to give credit to Will Smith for continuing to find a way to get sacrifice flies with runners on base, is so incredibly impressive for this organization. To see Mookie Betts find some good swings with some of the expected numbers not being great for him early in the season, see him finding a way to get into a little bit of groove. It's positive to be able to watch. Overall, this team is one of, if not the best teams in baseball, right? Exactly where we thought that they would be. They're on a 6-game winning streak. to this point. They have a couple more games in Atlanta. Then they've got a 3-game set against the Marlins to continue to build up momentum, to continue to help with some of their other players find a groove. Max Muncy last night had the long, just barely foul fly ball. Otherwise, that would be home run number 2. Hopefully, he can get on track. Hopefully, a guy like a Michael Conforto can get on track. Hopefully, Andy Pages and Teoscar Hernandez can continue to stay hot.
Be brothers.
I talked about on the show on Wednesday. I love that mentorship role that Teoscar Hernandez
It's the positive aspect. Andy Pages is so hard on himself.
Yes.
He just... pucker's the wrong word, but he's so hard on himself, he almost thinks himself into slumps.
Yes.
And so that happy-go-lucky, hey, dude, you got to stay in the moment type, just fun personality of Teoscar Hernandez is exactly. I mean, think of it as a medicine. It's the exact medicine that Andy Pages needed.
It's exactly what he needed, and it has been such an absolute joy to be able to see him continue to grow with his development to be one of the more productive players that's part of this Dodgers team. And Andy Pages, at least over the course of the past couple of weeks, numbers changed pretty dramatically for him, and he's doing a lot of elements right. There's a lot of positive things, despite all of the different injuries, which I think going into the season, we obviously can't necessarily plan for injuries exactly, but it is something that we know is going to happen at some point. Despite all of that, they're still playing incredibly good baseball. They're still a game and a half up in the National League West. They're on a really good track right now. They
took advantage of the schedule they had coming back home.
Yes,
that's what good teams do.
Yes,
win the games you're supposed to.
Yes, and that's not going to happen every single series. Sure. Obviously, they still got a lot of games.
And they lost the one to the Pirates, but
yes, they've still got a lot of games to go in division, and those are going to be important games, particularly in about a week when the Dodgers play in Arizona against the Diamondbacks. That's going to be a highly competitive series for an Arizona team that's still trying to find their way and
they will.
A really good run.
They're too good to stay like this.
Yes. And I mean, with Arizona, they're in 4th place, but they're 2 games above 500 right now. That wouldn't be the case 4th place in a lot of other divisions. So the Dodgers are in a really good place right now. There's obviously not a perfect club. You never are a perfect club, but they're working on the different elements, and they will go and adapt from there.
Yeah. They're as close to perfect as baseball has to offer. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Especially if they get healthy. So, hey, we talk about the Dodgers have even acknowledged they have to get younger at some point. I mean, whether it be instead of going and getting other people's 32-year-olds, go get somebody like they did Yoshinobu Yamamoto, get a 25-year-old. What they did with Roki Sasaki, however old Roki Sasaki is, I can't remember right off the top of my head. Or whether it be bring up your prospects. So, I mean, whichever way it is, the Dodgers need to get younger. So, let me this is not going to happen. This is just kind of fun talk that we're doing just on a Saturday morning podcast of which nobody in the Dodgers organization will ever watch. So we can sit here and have all the fun we want, right? So you want to get younger real fast? Here you go. You bring up Haison Kim, you throw him at shortstop, you put Mookie Betts at second base, you play out the year, and then you make Alex Freeland your everyday third baseman. Next year, you figure out a way to get Dalton Rushing on the roster somewhere. Okay? That's how you get younger. Because Haison Kim, I'm telling you, that the fielding percentage has not been good at shortstop. But if you saw the plays that he's made, the way that he uses his athletic ability to cut off the ball, to make his throw shorter, the transition from field to throw, this dude could be an awesome shortstop at the major league level. Alex Freeland could be an awesome third baseman. Mookie Betts would be probably the best second baseman in the game, especially with his offensive profile. And I think that would take less of a tax on his body. I don't think you'd have to do all the extra stuff to be an elite second baseman that he has to do to be a shortstop. So you want to get younger while still maintaining the level of elite excellence? I think that's a good path.
It
Prove me
certainly
wrong.
is a path in which they could potentially go down. You're talking about all three of those different guys being on the cusp of the big league level. Haison Kim, obviously on the 40-man roster, and as Casey was able to report, is on his way or is already in Atlanta with the team. Whether exactly that will be he'll be part of the taxi squad, or he'll be called up and replace somebody that's currently on the roster, either with an injured list, or the only other option would be Andy Pahe sent down. So that's not likely to happen.
Nope.
So he is somebody that currently
hold
is
on before you go on. Would Michael Conforto with $17 million in a year, would he clear waivers? Would anybody pick up $17 million for him right now on the waiver wire? I say no.
I don't know exactly what that is.
Well, who in the hell would want Michael Conforto right now for $17 million?
It's a very good question. Well, it would be a little bit less than that because obviously a month has already happened in the season. How much would it be? So it would be maybe $14-ish million.
Okay, then who in the hell wants Michael Conforto for $14 million right now?
It depends on what your bet is on the rest of the season for Michael Conforto. If it's exactly
if he can't hit in this Dodgers lineup, then with all this talent around him and the protection he has around him, where in the hell is he going to hit?
It's a good question.
I mean, he can't hit in San Francisco. He can't hit.
Okay, so there's a couple of different elements that I'm going to go with this. One, it's been a month into the season, so it's been a shorter sample size. So it's very possible that this could just be the worst month or a really bad month in Michael Conforto's career, and that the rest of the couple months as the summer heats up, he's going to do really well. We also have seen other players be part of this Dodgers team struggle at times, but once they moved into a little bit of a low pressure situation or a lower pressure situation, have a lot of success. An example
That's not
of
him.
that,
He went to Oregon State. He does that. He's always played in the limelight.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. I'm just saying with other players, like we've seen Gavin Lux have a lot of success through the course of the season. Not saying that Michael Conforto is that player or that type of player, but it's very possible that could be the case for him. And just the track record with Michael Conforto has been that he has been an above average bat throughout the course of his career. So if you're expecting him for the rest of his season to be that type of player, which is why the Dodgers decided to bring him in, that's why another team, and especially if another team has an injury at the outfield position or an opening in which they could use one of those type of players, perhaps that is the case where they decide to roll the dice and take a chance on a Michael Conforto. So I'm not anticipating any of that to happen. I still think the Dodgers will do their due diligence and try to give him as much opportunities as they possibly can.
Meanwhile, Ryan Ward can hit 500 at AAA. He's been the best prospect hitter in the organization for 5 years running. He's having the best year of any prospect in the organization. And he just has to sit down there to burn while we watch Michael Conforto hit $120.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. It was a decision that the Dodgers made during the offseason when they not just made the investment in Michael Conforto, and they also made the investment in Teoscar Hernandez. That is where the decision of where you could disagree. I love
Teoscar Hernandez. I've got an emotional investment in him.
Absolutely.
I love I've got zero investment in Michael Conforto.
I'm talking about the combo of bringing both of those guys in.
Yes, I understand. It frustrates me that you got a guy like Ryan Ward. There is literally not anything else he can do on a merit system to warrant a major league call-up. And he can't get it because he's being blocked by a guy that's hitting $120. And I get, well, he can't hit here. He can't hit there. Well, I'll tell you what, Ryan Ward has proved he can hit wherever the hell he's wanting. Now, it's AAA. I get it. But that's the only opportunity he's given. All you can do as a player is take advantage of the opportunity that is put in front of you. Ryan Ward has done that. So that's the part of this system with the Dodgers that frustrates me, is that sometimes it's not based on what a guy does or is doing or has deserved. It's based on what decision did they make back in November based on a stat sheet full of advanced analytics. That frustrates me.
Yeah, and it very likely is something that they're going to continue-ish to do. But that actually goes back a little bit to your point of the question of how do we get the Dodgers to be a little bit younger on the offensive side? Because you look at the offense right now, the only player that's under 30 that is currently on the roster, not including Haison Kim, who we're still waiting for the official report from the Dodgers, but as Fabian Ardea, but most importantly, as Casey stated first, Haison Kim is on his way to Atlanta. The only player that's under 30 that's part of that list is Andy Pages. And that is a very big problem for the long-term future of the Dodgers. If you start to see some of these players get on a little bit more steep of a negative regression curve, which we don't know if that's the case necessarily for all of these guys, but it very well could be potentially the case for guys like a Max Muncy or a Michael Conforto, not necessarily long-term. Max Muncy, I'd guess probably would be on the team. His role be in question in 2026 for similar reasons that Chris Taylor is on this team for the 2025 season. But you have to think about how do we start to implement some of the youth that's part of this club. And I think it comes down to a determination of how much they want to make this be a priority into their element. And also, I think this is such a unique opportunity, especially, and this likely would be during the 2026 season, during some of the prime, just during some of the peak years of guys like Shohei Ohtani, of Mookie Betts, while you still have Freddie Freeman, while you still have Will Smith and all these different guys, to be able to go into a little bit of a slow-ish transition for some of these guys to be able to be part of this club, to have a couple of these younger guys, especially if it's something where Andy Pages is able to cement himself to be part of this club, to add a couple of more of those guys with a Haison Kim, with an Alex Freeland, finding a role that's not you're going to sit on the bench 5 or 6 days, or you're going to play completely out of position that you've never played before, but finding a role that's going to be suitable and that's going to be really solid for them, I think is a absolute need that this organization is going to have to make at some point, because you can't have a club that continues to age out and then realize that you need to get younger, but have it be far too late. And you also can't have an organization where you go up and you have all these prospects that are down at your minor league level completely age out, and then you don't get any value for them as well.
Exactly.
Not that Alex Freeland or Dalton Rushing are going to age out anytime soon. They've still have limited experience at Oklahoma City, meaning they were called up late in 2024. They've started the season in 2025, but if they remain there for most of the season, they'll have sustained experience at Oklahoma City. Then find what you need to do to be able to provide a little bit of flexibility. So if Michael Conforto or whoever replaces Michael Conforto is struggling, you have an alternative path that you can take, and instead of releasing that player, perhaps you can send him down to the minor leagues and call somebody up and have a little bit more of a merit system with that. It's going to present interesting dynamics as we get through this season and as we enter closer towards the 2025-2026 offseason because of the way this roster is currently constructed. But that is something we must keep in mind as we go forward and with all the different decisions that the Dodgers are going to make.
Yeah. So basically what Michael Conforto has done is it's made it Andy Pages have to play center field. It's given you a bad defense in left field. It's blocked Ryan Ward. And so, I mean, it's just been not a good situation at all. I get that the Dodgers made their decision to sign him. They got to stick with it for a while. And the only thing that's going to make this work is if this dude really starts hitting, because it's obvious the defense isn't going to be good. Hopefully Andy Pages can continue to get better in center field, that kind of deal. But regardless of how good he gets in center, he would be worlds better at a corner. That will always be the case, especially with his arm strength and that kind of deal. So, I mean, it's just kind of the whole whammy of that situation that has me frustrated, because it's just like that was just a decision made in a lab. That wasn't a decision based on, okay, well, I mean, they had a thought. They had an idea. And because of a thought and an idea, now we're just kind of getting double whammied on that, which, hey, this is just conversation. Again, I say all this goes back to the point. We say all that, we have these conversations, and the Dodgers still have the best record in baseball. I mean, we're spoiled. We're finding nits to pick, right? But that's what we do on these shows. But that's probably my one biggest frustration with this whole season. But hey, this has been a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun getting to break the Haison Kim story last night. I was very thankful for Fabian Ardea for including me in that tweet in terms of giving me credit for running that last night, and not because I necessarily want the credit, but I can tell you that last night was not fun. I mean, it's even when you know your source is 100% on something that's that big. Well, you saw what it did to JP Hornstra or whatever is however you say his last name. Whenever he ran with the Shohei Ohtani deal, now, I think he was probably a little bit douchier about it in terms of trying to be cute and funny and all this kind of stuff, which I wasn't at all. I was more nervous than anything. But you just the fact that I had to sleep on it, I didn't get to sleep very much. I think I got to sleep maybe an hour last night, just worrying about, okay, well, what if they change their mind? What if this and that? Dodgers Daily's still small. I really can't afford to take that type of hit. That you, Austin, and all the other Dodgers dogs have worked so hard to build credibility, and in just one fell swoop, that kind of deal. And so that's why it's important for Fabian Ardaya to credit Dodgers Daily, because of the grind that we put into it, that you mentioned, the way that we cover these guys. That's why we got this information, is because we cover these guys equally. It doesn't matter if they're the best or the worst prospects in the organization. They get fair treatment. That's why we get this information. And it was nerve-wracking. And so for that reason, that's why I was super glad to see Dodgers Daily mention in Fabian Ardaya's tweet.
Yeah, it was really, anytime you're able to get that, which there might have been a couple of other times when we've been able to get that from some other major publication or some people that are really big, which Fabian Ardaya, we've got an insane amount of respect for because of the way that he is able to do the reporting. That he's so close within the organization to be able to be within the same conversation at all. It is humbling for us here, especially with the
Jack Harris mentioned, that kind of deal.
All that different stuff. It's incredibly cool to be able to get that, but it all remains the focus because of the way that we've tried to build Dodgers Daily from the aspect of focusing on the younger guys first and then building it up from there has been a really cool process to be able to have. Super proud to be able to work with you, Casey, to be able to talk through a lot of this stuff, to have fun, to be able to talk through this different conversation.
Not to be douchey about it, but we deserve that one, if you will. That's just kind of how I feel. I mean, there's been a lot of hard work when go into that one. So
it not only has been a lot of hard work, but you also intentionally spend hours, hundreds of hours at Oklahoma City, at Tulsa, not just there, but also watching each one of these games, being highly invested within the organization to try to make it as good as it possibly can, and to be able to provide coverage for these guys, not just to grow our own brand, but also to be able to do it for these players, for their families, to be able to see the different elements that they have. All these different elements are really important. I'm really grateful to be part of this in whatever way I am.
Yeah, it's been a whole lot of fun covering all these guys and getting to know all of them and getting to cover the Dodgers a little bit and getting a little bit of recognition. That's always good too, because it's not it's not the fame part of it. I could give a rat's crap. I've been in the coaching. I've already done all that part. This is just my hobby. The last thing I'm looking for is like fame or anything like that, or that part of it. What I just love baseball, and I love getting to be around these types of people, and it's just a lot of fun. So, hey, any final thoughts here before we get out of here, Austin?
Yeah, it's been an absolutely fun show. Obviously, big day here at Dodgers Daily, but an even bigger day for Haison Kim. Let that always be the focus. Is the focus and the recognition does not deserve to be on us. It deserves to be on these players. And Haison Kim, the reason why Casey was presented with this opportunity is because of the skill sets that Haison Kim has been able to present, because he's been incredible. He's been really solid in Oklahoma City. He's able to steal a lot of bases. He's able to provide really unique positional versatility that you don't see from every single player, being that up the middle type of defensive player, which is so incredibly important, because those are the most important defensive positions on the field, is having that up the middle defense being so incredibly solid. And then he's been productive at the bat as well this season, being above average bat in Oklahoma City, surprisingly having more power than I think either one of us had anticipated when the Dodgers decided to sign Haison Kim. It is going to be something where you have to continue to be patient with Haison Kim. He's still adapting to things over here in America since coming over from the KBO, be patient with this guy, allow him to be able to, with whatever run that the Dodgers are going to go with him, continue to go out there and be patient as he works through finding different ways to adapt to big league pitching, finding different ways to make consistent contact at the plate, doing some of the small little things right. We saw in spring training, it was a little bit of a struggle for Haison Kim. Once he was able to figure things out, he was able to be pretty productive at the plate for him. So I'm excited to see Haison Kim to get an opportunity in whatever form that it gets, whether it's be with the big league club, whether it's just part of a taxi club situation being down in Atlanta with the Dodgers right now. I'm excited to see the opportunity that he's able to get and how the Dodgers are going to really implement him to be part of the role within this organization. It is a very exciting time to be a Los Angeles Dodger, not just because the team is winning, not just because the team is the best team in baseball, but because they're going out and finding different guys to be part of this mix. And there is an insane amount of talent to be able to watch at the farm. Haison Kim, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Tonight, watch the Oklahoma City game that's going to be on TV. It's going to be absolutely amazing to be able to watch that and experience what we get to experience down at the farm. So I'm excited about that. Casey, I'm excited for you. It's been a fun day here, Dodgers Dogs, and it's been a fun day to be able to interact with you guys as well.
It feels like it's a competitive situation too, because you know it's just you feel like you won something. So that's because you feel like you won something first of all because the player won, and then second of all, when the source gives you the information, the last thing they tell you is, "I'm giving this to you because I appreciate you. I appreciate the way that you've done things. I appreciate the way that you do things." And I feel like you're the one who deserves this information. There's no, but that's why you do it. There's no better feel because that's respect, that's appreciation. That's why we do it, man, right there. And that's the biggest part of it. So again, Justin Robleski on the bump tonight for AAA Oklahoma City on Spectrum. You got Roki Sasaki if the rain holds off in Atlanta. Wow, what a great day to be a Dodger.